Hi, Sunbro. Hi, Wicked Lazy. I feel like a real podcaster with this lo-fi beat. What's up? Oh, we got some waves from Everything Now the show in the chat. What's up? Wicked Lazy, we love you too. Hey guys, it's Alex back with technically the third edition of whatever this is called. It still says Everything Then, so we'll just keep calling it Everything Then for now until we get a better name. Because Everything Then will eventually be when we play older episodes, but we'll keep it for now. But this is where we talk about the show, reflect on it. I bring in a cast member from the show to talk, and yeah, we look at clips. We try to focus on a specific topic that we would like to improve, or like look to past episodes and things we've done on the show to see what we could do to better a specific area of the show. And tonight we have a very special guest. He is the other half of the co-creation of Everything Now show. We created it while living together in this crazy house in the valley of Los Angeles that basically looked like a log cabin. If you've ever seen the early episodes of the show, we didn't have a green screen. We just used the living room of this house, and it was basically a log cabin, but it was built in Los Angeles, and there's no insulation or anything. It was just basically just panels of wood. So the summers were hot, the winters were cold. Jones, and a woo you to you too. And yeah, we were living together. We were doing a lot of short films and stuff, and we decided to create a live stream show to put out things more quickly and more consistently. And he's been great. He's helped shape the show. He was the original engineer of the show, so a lot of the editing style that you see in today's show is generated from his editing style and his live editing style. He's amazing. His name's Rocky. We're gonna bring him in right now. If I can figure this out. Yes. Boom. Hello.
Hi, friend.
Hi, Rocky. All your friends are here.
How's it going? The whole gang's here. It's exciting time. I'm gonna try and squeeze them in a little bit more, but yeah, I'm glad to be here. I love that we're doing this show.
I know. Yeah, it's really, really great to have this time to just take a breath of fresh air and look.
Yeah, what the hell else is going on?
Yeah. There's nothing else going on. The show is the only important thing to talk about right now. Obviously,
Absolutely.
Nothing else happened today that was significant.
Nope, not at all. If you say otherwise, you're banned.
You're banned. There's Joker.
Just gonna make sure he's in there.
Rocky is so hot.
And yeah. Oh my gosh, guys, please. Horny jail, all of us.
You're on horny jail.
Yeah.
Usually
God, that house.
Usually
it is.
You can't bring in the creeper. Is that what it is? Because it's usually green screened out.
Yes, indeed. I downloaded him for no reason because he's essentially an entirely green being. So never using the creeper for improv. But I don't know. I should probably just. I know, right? I should probably ask the Discord for what PNGs I should make next. I think that'd be a fun way to interact with the the long form improv because they can. Oh, explosions going on outside. They could then essentially give me characters to throw into the scenes.
Yeah, that would be really fun. I feel like it's kind of like what we try to do with the bouncer game, but now it's like there's a whole designated person for the PNGs, which is really cool. But yeah,
it's been very interesting. Also, yeah, thank you for banning yourself, Jones. Yeah, it's been an interesting trial by fire doing improv over a live stream call. Some would say that seems like a death knell for the thing, but I think we found some decent ways to make it work. In my opinion, I don't know. It's been fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's been great. I feel like the PNGs were a huge breakthrough of just being able to, and just having like, I don't know. It's so much easier when you just bring in Vin Diesel and like that is the entrance, instead of having a character and like establishing a concept. It's like it's just also awesome to just come in as Vin Diesel and just do that, or like any.
It's kind of a funny, yeah, right. Like I don't know. I was thinking about like, getting PNGs of actors and then having them act as characters as opposed to being themselves the actors. Like if I bring in Danny DeVito, he's not like, you don't address him as Danny DeVito. He's just Danny DeVito playing a character. Yeah. But that's probably a little too meta-minded for that to actually come through. So, but I don't know. Like the Barley's Bar where I used the PNGs, that was also a very fun experiment. That was my first time using PNGs for the normal show, I guess, and I think we worked that out. I think we got to do basically like half the episode was essentially that character's arc, so I mean it worked to some degree.
Yeah, I think it's just a smoother way of like collaborating over calling stuff, and like that you're able to like bring it in at your own will instead of like how we were trying to do it, where we would kind of have to bring you in at certain times or whatever.
Yeah, we literally were working out the voice activated my entrance, right? I had to like actually call out me coming off the back line, which is, it's so funny how primitive it was for like one stream, or at least one rehearsal or whatever. But
yeah,
hey, you know, that's kind of what our show's been, is just us like hitting rocks together until we find a better way to do something. And even then, it's like we're using vMix as opposed to OBS. Like, the fuck is wrong with us? But vMix has been very nice to us.
Is laughing at us. I'm trying to find.
It's a little, I know. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the photo of the living room, but I don't know if I actually have it on my laptop. Do you have it on yours?
I might have it on my the set shot, or just like photos of the.
I might just have one on my phone that I could pull up.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, probably somewhere in the disk or the Slack. I'm not on my Mac. Even then, where would a photo of the background be on here? Maybe in the Google Drive, possibly.
Oh yeah.
I'll look around. Also, it's funny, on the Jake episode of Everything Then, you guys were talking about, you're watching the food episode, and you're like trying to decide whether it was green screened set or not, and I was like talking to my phone, like it had to be green screen to get the Roger Gherkin bit to work. So like literally we had to green screen a set in so that he wouldn't be, or like I don't know, I think at that point we just decided like we'll green screen the set in for the sake of not taking down the green screen every single episode. But we just neglected to think.
I think Roger
was a green screen character.
I think we weren't green screen because Roger would have had to been like blue, because then you would have just been a part of the background. Right. So that was like before we had transitioned fully to a green screen set.
Because then we had the pickle picture in the background. Right, yeah. God, such a weird, confusing, backwards way of doing it.
It's so confusing. For those of you who are not familiar, we started the show 2.5 years ago now. When it was started, it was a mostly scripted thing that happened maybe every 2 weeks if we were good about it. But we were Twitch normies, and we were streaming to Facebook Live and Twitch at the same time. We went to YouTube and streamed there for a while,
It's
which was
back
an
and forth
interesting
so many
thing.
times. We made
And
several videos that were like, sorry, we're back on Twitch.
yeah,
Sorry about
and
that.
then, hey Link. And then we finally
Hi,
came
Link.
home to Twitch and have been here since, which I think was our best call.
Yeah.
Because YouTube streaming's so bleak.
Yeah.
Paint the walls green.
It was nothing.
Yeah, it was basically us chasing Ice Poseidon, like trying to leech off his
What a year.
viewership. Being on
And then that guy
YouTube
fucking
Live.
self-destructed himself, basically.
Yeah, he Jokerfied himself.
Pretty much.
Oh, thanks, Jones.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found us too. I was looking.
Same here.
It was so fun looking through old clips when I was putting together that thread today for the celebrating
Yeah.
Joe's win. I was just like looking through all of our clips, and I was just like, wow, there's so many great moments here.
Yeah. Really wild moments of no context chaos.
Yeah.
I think we should. I joked about this a while ago. We should turn ourselves into our own no context account because we just have so much bad shit, like so many bad shit clips that we could just put it out there and be like, yeah, here's what our show is at any second. There's probably context if you watch it live, but otherwise it is just going to be mayhem.
Yeah, I really like that. That's what I was thinking of, like, for when we eventually get the TikTok up and running, is just like having like
Yes.
a focused thing or like point of view from the show, since we are all over the place with the show, that it would be nice to like kind of have more focused things. And I think, which is kind of the topic of conversation that I think you wanted to bring up for this episode, is like how to best approach like these different avenues that we have outside, and like also the like cohesive like kind of visual approach that we present ourselves outside of the show too.
Yeah, like a combination of brand and aesthetic, I suppose. Because, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the past couple of weeks, we've kind of found ourselves discussing this shift of sorts. I mean, that's what the show's about. It's us trying to find our footing, you know, new footing with all of our friends who have been in tow with us lately, like everyone in the chat right now. You know, like, thankfully you've been so kind to us following us around. But yeah, we were still trying to like put ourselves out there, and I guess we were like, seems like we're trying to figure out a new, I don't know, like I guess like identity or something like that, because I just I found myself confusing myself, thinking of like, what is everything now? Is it the show that we do, or is it us as a collective? Like, how do we how do we put ourselves out there as such? Like, I mean, like, I love the trailer that we made this year, but it's for the show that we do once a week, you know? And, like, we do so many more things and have clearly so many more ideas and, you know, and stuff like that, too. So, yeah, it's I guess like, that was one question I definitely wanted to discuss on this show. Among others, I kind of, like, wrote down some other things and ideas that we could discuss at some point. But yeah, you have any thoughts on where we are right now as ENS, Everything Now show?
Yeah, I think the collective thing is where I'm kind of leaning more towards now, with how I perceive it, at least, because just with like all of our interests, it's nice to not I mean, first off, like, Twitch is very personality driven, so I feel like it's good to present ourselves on here too, like how we're doing now with this show, but like getting our viewers to know us in that aspect and like enjoy the comedy show that we do, but also just like are cool with hanging out in the chat right now and talking to us about different things that we'd like to get into, and just making like the Discord and all that a support system for any work that we do, even if it's outside the show.
Yeah.
And I think it's just it's also easier to present that to somebody that is new. Like, instead of what I feel like we've done up to this point is just like, okay, we're this interactive comedy show. We sometimes talk to a giant mountain head. We sometimes ride with someone in a lift, like, thing. And we got pretty good at, like, at least pitching that in a sort of thing. And like, but now we're switching it up even more to where it is like, I feel like it is better to just get like a more broader look at just being like, you know, like the Wham City or you know, these like kind of comedy collectives like Sarah Squirm stuff and like
a team.
Yeah. And I think it's not as common like doing a completely internet-based thing. Like, I'm sure we'd be doing more stuff like doing live performance stuff if there wasn't a pandemic going on, but also
yeah,
I think it's just better to kind of lean towards more of that way of presenting ourselves. Sex cult, yeah,
I mean, like literally, that's exactly it. A sex cult for sure. A network, like WikiLazy said. Yeah, I mean, essentially that, and like you're saying, like a team. Like we literally did one long form improv show as a team, minus you, I think, before the pandemic, and we ended up feeling very good about it. It was like this weird like resurgence of us as college improvisers. We were like, oh my god, we can still do this. Holy shit! Like it still feels good. Especially now that we're doing, you know, this thing twice a week at the time. Even now, I guess, yeah, with the improv. But, yeah, I know it's just like, now we're on this weird playing field of internet comedy that everyone's still very uncomfortable with or, like, hasn't really figured out or, I don't know. But, like, we were ahead of the game, technically, I guess. So, you know, like, I think... I'm just like just thinking out loud, I guess, at this point. But yeah, I think branding ourselves as a team or collective is a very cool way of putting it, and also probably simplifies it for a lot of folks. Even though I like, you know, like what do we call the Sunday show? Everything Now show, or like, you know, do we like, is it, or I don't even know, like that. I guess like at this point it might be just like worth dropping a lot of this stuff because it's just going to confuse us, but and it's just like semantics or whatever. But I don't know. It's like SEO and like having your YouTube channel organized and shit like that. Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of having, you know, we're kind of already leaning towards doing like the Sunday show as our like, that's our main gig, and that's like the Everything Now show is funny in itself. I don't know if it's just like even more confusing or not, but yeah, just having that as kind of like the flagship show, and then having, you know, the long form stuff on Wednesdays, your Photoshop show, like all kind of like not even, because I know that Jake started you know, wanting to experiment outside of like the Love Show after he did that for a couple of weeks, like even having like kind of slots for each of us as opposed to like specific shows that we want to do might be a better way to look at it too, or it's just like it's Rocky's night or something where it's just like you can kind of look at it, it's like, oh, this is the night where Rocky will be doing something. And then if it's like, it's kind of like if you were to do a run of a show, it's like, hey, for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to be doing the Photoshop show. So it's like I have these guests booked, and then you're not really looking at like a show as this like infinite thing that you have to like keep up with, but you're like, hey, for the month of December, I'm doing this and doing it on Monday nights, and then kind of just having at least just like, okay, I know that I need to get guests for like this block of time, and then after that you can like move on to the next thing, or like keep doing it if you're into it. But that might be a good way to look at it too, is like, I think that's like something that's inevitable, where we're always just going to be like moving on to the next thing or wanting to try the next thing. That's like the more we try to kind of put things in a box or a more specific box, the harder we make it for us in the long run. So making it more conducive to like changing and stuff like that, while still being like the chat's gonna know, oh, Rocky's gonna do something on this day, and then he'll announce it to us or in whatever time he wants. But
Yeah, that's kind of a cute way of putting it. Like, Monday is Rocky night, Tuesday's Alex night. Just like literally, like you can create a calendar with just our faces and like fighting game, choose your character style. Like that, like this is who you get on that night, kind of thing. Yeah, I've been looking at Mondays in that way too because I like doing the Photoshop show, and I'm like I feel like I just kind of figured out how to properly book it, which is one guest and then one piece of art that is made with the audience. So I can kind of get like, you know, have my cake and eat it too. Having two guests on and then an audience thing was just a little exhausting. And I'm still like trying to learn how to engage the audience while also interviewing and talking with a guest. So I figured just one guest per show would be good. But yeah, I have other like ideas I really want to like try. And also some nights I might just want to play a video game. So it's like kind of a matter of knowing, I don't know, yeah, like maybe I can like program a whole month of like, I'll do Photoshop on like the first and third weekend or first and third Monday. And then the other two, I'll just have like a free slot where I can like, you know, do something. Like I want to do like a movie club style show where you talk about like certain genres or certain prompts of like movies you watch on first dates or like movies that make you think about loss or grief or love or something like that. And then I also thought about this show recently. I want to do a meditation show. I think that'd be very, very interesting.
That was really cool when you brought that up. I really like that idea.
I think it could be a very interesting collaboration for sure. Like it's going to get me back into engineering and like messing with the tricks and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm setting up a shop in another room in this apartment actually, so I'll have much more space to like I'll just have all my instruments and the editing bay and stuff like that in a better space than what I currently have. So I'm very excited to experiment with more stuff. But yeah, I think at least for the time being, I'll just continue to have Monday nights as my slot and just let it like be room for experimentation. And I really want Chris and Sydney and and everyone to be to know that they obviously do know, but like I would love for it to be like, obviously we're all like working really hard and just trying to survive and trying to find time to live stream and create art while doing that is very difficult. But yeah, I don't know, like while we have this platform, I hope we can just keep on using it for good experimentation,
Yeah. Hoster Pizza says, I like the new shows with each cast member. You guys are all very likable, and I agree with Alex. Your personalities are key to the community. Thank you. Yeah,
it's very nice.
I agree. Like, I think that also if we frame it instead of like every show, which I think I brought this up to Sydney or Jake in a past conversation, but instead of it being this thing where somebody comes in and we have to be like, well, this isn't the show, the main show is the Sunday show, we can instead be like, hey, I'm Alex, like I'm doing this night, this channel is shared between me and my 4 friends who are all creatives in LA. On Sunday nights and Wednesday nights we come together and we do like comedy stuff, but on like tonight's my night and on the other nights you can meet everyone else. But it kind of just feels more cohesive and feels more like we're kind of building spaces for each other in the channel, but also leading up to this thing. It's like, hey, you like us all individually? You should check out the main show where we all come together and like do like our like cream of the crop stuff. But yeah, I had one more thought that it's gone. But yeah.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I think that's a pretty healthy way of running the channel and also giving it life, like also, I mean, like we don't want to like force, us, like again, like we're encouraging Sydney to do like her cooking show or whatever she wants to, or Jake to do a show, whatever he wants to. But I agree. I in like an ideal world, it is kind of a nice thing to imagine of like on any given night you're gonna meet one of us, and then we like can coalesce on Sunday or Wednesday. I like Wicked Lazy's thing, like more like a TV channel. Yeah, I just like I've loved public access as a concept and as kind of like an aesthetic for a long time, and like Twitch feels like an evolution in that to a certain degree, even though it's all video game based for the most part on the mainstream level. But yeah, I mean, like the more we can experiment, the more we can just kind of offer ourselves in the most purely creative ways possible, and hopefully like advertise the Sunday show and the Wednesday show even harder in that sense, no matter what we call them.
I think maybe like the game cover idea that we had for like these shows, instead of locking into that, maybe we could like transition that to more of just like each cast member on the main page, and just like instead of saying the specific show that they're
like
doing,
little bios.
Yeah, it's just like you have Rocky, like very into movie culture, like doing the Photoshop stuff, like kind of giving an overview of like things that you might see that person doing on the channel, but just like giving more introduction on it through that. I don't even know how many people read the about thing, but I just assume it's like a nice landing page for like new people.
Yeah, maybe we can like do, I don't know, like we just made the meet the cast video that plays in the what's it called, the opening show, like ad lib kind of. But maybe there's room for like a 2-minute long video that is just like, like choose your fighter kind of thing. I just love the arcade aesthetic, so I'll never drop it, unfortunately. But
yeah, the choose
it's
your
like something
character
to the degree
stuff's
of
great.
like, yeah, like you can like just kind of describe each person and like the shows that they do. You can kind of show clips from Sydney's cooking show or like my Photoshop show or something like that. Or for the about section, even though we're not sure if anyone even reads that. Shout out in the chat if you do, like when you look for another, like you find another streamer, I guess kind of inherently the idea feels like, yeah, you would look at the about section. I know I do at least. But like baseball cards would be kind of fun. Like you can do like a front and back side of like, here's Alex holding a turntable, and then on the back side it shows like, like what kind of shows you do, what your interests are, that kind of stuff. Like you're in like a little editorialized background, like, origin story or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, that can be fun. What else is the chat saying? Kevin MTM. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm hearing. Love spending time with you, each in your own creative world, and then all together one day. Again, this channel really helps me feel better, so the more the merrier. IMO. Yeah. Jake's calf workout stream. Interesting. A lot of horny for Jake talk.
That's well earned.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, listen, he's earned it. That's for sure. Any chance if you guys have read David Mitchell's memoir Backstory? Is that Peep Show guy? Is that who we're talking about?
I don't know.
Like that. Those intro videos are great. You do them well. I haven't seen anything quite like them on other channels. It feels like old school TV, which is very nostalgic. That's our reference point. I mean, like we just kind of come from this. We literally went to school to make television and film, so most of our ideas will come from like the sketch comedy or television or movie world, which I hope is refreshing to some people. I mean, like there's not a lot of language for it just yet out there on a bigger level. Like Cardboard Cowboy probably is like maybe the most, or even like Yellow Spoon Girl, Bella, friend of the show, are like the most non-gaming streamers. Sushi Dragon, of course, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. It's like it's still just like people do not consider Twitch anything but video games usually. Even like comedians who come over to Twitch, like if you see Thomas Middleditch is on or anybody, they're going to be playing video games, and that's fine. I mean, video games are fun, and I miss playing video games and want to do them more too on this stream. But yeah,
I think it's
like advertising. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's like it's kind of expanded, but it's still like the one person doing the one thing, where it's like, some people come on and they like will draw or do something, but it is that one person kind of like like commenting or like talking about what they're doing as they're doing it, or like reacting to videos or doing stuff like that. Which is kind of what it's just like when you're doing such a long form piece of content like live streaming, like it is built for that, and it makes the most sense to just do something like that and not like come in with a whole sketch show with characters that you improvise on. Which is why I think we keep finding trouble with it and finding how we can like do it consistently, but also still keep up with the amount of content that the Twitch audience wants. But I think now we are getting to that point where we're starting to kind of find our pocket for it, and we're just getting a lot comfortable with being in front of camera out of character. At least I am. Like I remember when I first started streaming, like I didn't like doing this. I didn't like talking out of character or anything.
It's nerve-wracking, man.
Yeah, and it just helps when, you know, we have people in our chat and in our Discord that we can actually talk with, and then it actually feels like I'm talking to a person instead of just being like looking at a webcam, talking at a webcam. And we're kind of fortunate to, you know, there's so many streamers that have to just talk to feel like they're talking to an empty room for so long before they can feel like they have a community, but our community is really solid. But I think we do, it's nice that we are giving them more of ourselves and individually ourselves, like that, you know, it can be worthwhile when they watch the show that they like feel like they know who's doing the characters, and like it just is more enjoyable, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a new kind of like language, I guess, of combining personality and like, you know, a bigger show like that. But I think we're definitely building it, and also so thankful for our viewership and our friends who are consistently joining us and watching the show and whatnot. Otherwise, you know, like it takes a second to build. I don't know. Like
it's also fun being
for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's also fun being like the kind of group that's introducing Twitch to a lot of the comedy scene in LA. I mean, it's gotten like at least to all of our comedy friends. People are just like, they come onto the show and they're still very confused about what Twitch is and how to best utilize it. But it's cool to kind of just like be in the position where you're not like, we have built this cool thing on Twitch and we're able to like invite guests on that aren't familiar with it and like show them to this cool community and all that.
That's the one thing I do miss and kind of resent COVID for. The one thing.
That's the one thing.
The single thing. No, the joy in like bringing over a comedian friend and just like showing off our setup and our rinky-dink little way of running a show. And like, you know, like all 5 of us playing stagehand and performer at the same time, and like having an idea and running over to the microphone and stuff. I mean, like, like the show is also part of the show in a way. To the degree that I would almost love to set up a webcam in the studio and just like on a wide shot of the green room and just watch and like have a stream, or like maybe even like a box in the bottom right corner of the show that shows you guys just doing just running the operation. Like, I think that in itself is deeply fascinating. I saw a video recently of the technical directing room during the Oscars when Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Jerry Maguire. And you watch the technical director screaming at his deck handlers, being like, "Cut to camera 3, get camera 9 ready. Where's his face? We need someone's face in the audience. Cut to them, cut to them." And if you know the speech that I'm talking about, Cuba Gooding Jr. gets very emotional and is like jumping and whooping and hollering and screaming and stuff like that. And so to see the director just kind of like operating it like a fucking like an orchestra. To a degree, we are like the jam band equivalent of that, because we do have room for us to be like, I have an idea. You can like see Jake going through the costume rack, or Chris running to the microphone and stuff like that. Like there is enjoyment in watching creative work on display, in my opinion. So I don't know, like maybe.
And one of the most holistic senses of like creativity, where it's like almost entirely is just up to us to figure it out. Kevin says, I'm so happy to hear. Oh, I lost that. Okay, hold on, let me go back to your message.
One thing to note is that they really loved your reel-to-reel stream, and like they were like kind of blown away by it.
Yeah,
and I agree. It's such a wild thing to uncover and like do in a show. Like it reminds me of Harry Horror Show. Like I'm eating a Twizzler at the same time. I don't know why I did this to myself, but yeah, I'm in agreement with everyone else saying like that was a really cool thing, and I'm glad that we have the room to think of more shows that could, do something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I digress. Let's read the chat. There's a lot of chat stuff going on here.
Aiden is kind of part of ENS to me. I never knew them before, but I wouldn't know what to do without their lead around, pillar of the community. Yeah, Aiden has been...
kind of wouldn't be anywhere without Aiden, so yeah.
Aiden has been huge and extremely instrumental in the creation of everything now, us being able to understand what Twitch is. Aiden like helped us out from the start, like came over and was a guest and like helped us through a bunch of like stuff of setting up the stream, and like it's so intimidating, and it's kind of like it's hard looking back on it now, because it's hard to like jump back in that perspective of just how intimidating Twitch is and trying to understand everything and what's going on, like everything from raids to setting up your channel to like doing like just editing stream info, where to stream. Yeah, like I think Aiden was like,
wouldn't raid people. He wouldn't raid people.
Yeah,
that's
we
like
were
so
like, we
such
don't
a
know
funny
what that
concept.
Means.
Yeah,
there's such like a wall of like, it is very daunting like trying to get into streaming. But Aiden was extremely helpful, and they're great. This community here is so cool, because it's like, it's not what I started feeling so alienated about from the comedy community in LA was just how like weirdly competitive it is, and weirdly just like not so very genuine, and it's just like kind of slimy. And the streaming community, like I did not expect, but has just been so welcoming. And even if it's just like getting really excited about,
it's engrossing.
Yeah, getting really excited about your channel, and then you don't talk to them for a while. It's just like, that they're doing their thing and like grinding and trying to stream and get their channel going. But whenever you tap back in, it's just like there's just like a big amount of respect among streamers, and also like it's cool that there's so many people that can do so many different things in streaming and still have the connection of just like creating content in this way.
Yeah, no, you and I were talking to a fellow streamer this morning, earlier today, and we did kind of like lament the like the openness of live streaming, the potential that it breeds up against the like the inherent culture of Twitch, and just kind of like how hard it is to like find people. But like once you do find a little family, it's just so like touching. It's almost like impossible for it to disappear, like you kind of establish a little like home base on your Discord, or just the fact that people come in the same time every week or something like that. Like it is, yeah, we're nothing without our viewer base. I don't know, that just came to mind when we were talking about Aiden. Hashtag blessed. And yeah, Aiden loves it when we diss the LA comedy scene, and I do too, because so much of it sucks.
I do not like it.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's just that like, I mean,
go ahead.
We did this to ourselves in going to film school and becoming comedians and whatnot, but like turning the thing that brings us so much joy into a creative career, it just kind of unravels it when like you're stuck dealing with these personalities and so much ego, our own egos, like this show kind of like holds up a mirror to ourselves, and it's very humbling frequently, like when in making it and selling it and just being so like I'm very proud of the show, but it is so like, I hate having a brain that has to be like so on all the time when it comes to like, we got to be successful.
Oh yeah,
as opposed to just
being
like
competitively funny is like the biggest turnoff for me. I'm just like, there's no fun for me
Nightmare.
in like doing that. And like when I was doing stand-up, it was like the first time where I was like, this feels really gross, and I'm not knocking anyone that's into it, but just like the like one-to-one thing of like trying to be the best at being funny is really shitty. And that's when I kind of realized, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to be a comedian. I love improvising and creating, and that's like more leaning towards creating things with people in like a team aspect. But I don't like, I mean, I'm completely off Twitter now. I'm like, I didn't like that at all. It's just like I am very much into just the collective idea, and just, you know, I like, our show is in a sense comedy, but in more of a sense it's like an approach at creating something that can be like a true improvisational like form between the chat and the performer, which is like comedy's the easiest way to digest that
viewpoint.
Yeah, comedy's the easiest way to digest that,
is.
which is why like I feel like we approach it that way, and like, you know, why it can become a little more popular. But in the end, the more important thing is like having a way to perform, but also like bring the audience directly into that fold, and figuring out like how to reckon with like the things that are going on in the moment like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree that like the most fun thing to do when making this show is think about ways the audience can interact, even if the ideas are so like harebrained and haywire and just so like risky, and like that, like this could barely work. Like, I don't know, I tried doing a game once where the audience had to warn me if someone was entering the scene, and like I made free sound alerts, and that was chaotic. Just like turning our show into a video game the audience can play is just like such a weird way of thinking about creating something. But I love that it does extend past comedy in a sense, and there's so much opportunity for it too, like in music or like dramatic, like theater is a very fascinating thing that I never really thought of until now. But there's like, you know, so much potential there. Art, like doing the Photoshop show has been very fun, and I want to expand it even more somehow, or make it even more immersive for the viewer. I was watching T-Pain recently, and I don't know if this is the intention on his stream, but he was working on a song that had a certain vocal sample on it, and then every time someone subscribed, the same vocal sample would play as well. So it kind of felt like people were just hitting like a pad on a drum pad whenever they would subscribe or whenever they would donate or something. Yeah, it just kind of like inherently added to the song that the beat he was working on. I don't even know if that was his intention.
I watched a couple of his streams, and he's really great.
He's such a funny guy to be so naturally good at streaming, or so naturally fitting to the rhythms of streaming, where he's like cool sitting down, answering questions, just relaxing, you know, like he's just a
nice
very
dude.
Charismatic guy.
Yeah, just a nice,
exactly.
like, genuine guy.
That's another thing. I found myself watching a lot of Twitch recently just to like familiarize myself with the thing. But yeah, we have some questions. Let's go to that.
We have one from Super Pizza. Says, guys, I have one criticism. I really liked what Dr. Teacher did for the show. He added a feeling of continuity and even focus. I disagree with the decision to get rid of him. And it was a very unpopular decision for us to get rid of him.
Even amongst ourselves, it was hard. And just because, like, I mean, like, the backstory stuff for him was probably a little, like, you know, like, ham-fisted. But the notion of a collective host that we could all take on still rings as something very special in my brain. And I think about him a lot. I mean, I think about things that we could bring him back for and stuff, even. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I totally agree. I think also I think the reason we took him away is because we felt like he had this purpose serving the current format that we had, which was the panel shows that were supposed to be this kind of educational theme. So when we transition more to the character cavalcade stuff that we do now with the different people coming, like one host character, different, like we didn't feel the need for him to be there anymore. But I agree, and also even now with like, now that we're like leaning more towards like this collective image of like the five of us and doing individual stuff, it might be good to bring him back, you know, as just like a unifying symbol. It's just like he is the brain that connects all five of us, or something to that effect.
He's the brain inside of that avatar that you created for the Twitter.
Oh my God, let's
profile.
bring that up.
This horrifying piece of art.
Bring up this
also, I'll just say that we are going to still answer questions from. I think we should talk about Teddy also. I have some things about subs that I would like to discuss. Yes. Base Boy 16, thank you for your question. Do you guys have an overall goal of the show? I'd love to discuss that as well. And Sadville, another great question about On Cinema. I think that is another, I don't even know what you call that, but an immersive comedy storytelling universe. I think that's a very successful thing, and I'd love to dissect it. I mean, like, probably not tonight on this show, but like, I think that's something worth aspiring to, or it's like inspiring to me at least. Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that. I just want to say, hey guys, like Greg, cool, thanks Sadville, I appreciate that. Yeah, look at this piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Look at this. Look at this amazing piece of art that I created.
Yeah. So hold on, I need to confirm some things.
Thank you. You will never.
Thank you, Wicked
Thank you, Wicked Lazy.
Thank you.
So kind. Yeah. Everyone, look.
As soon as they saw the image, they had to subscribe. Oh yeah, trigger warning.
Exactly. It's like, well, this just confirms that I need to do this. Right now, Dr. Teacher, and also overall goals of the show. But yeah, so is that my forehead and glasses?
Yes.
Your mustache?
Yes.
Jake's bottom half of his face. Chris's
smile,
hair.
Yeah, Chris's hair.
Yeah. And then Sydney's eyes and nose?
One of Sydney
and ears?
One of Sydney's eyes, her nose, one of my eyes.
I fucking thought they were different. Yeah, that's so horrifying. What an amazing choice.
Also, this like image of Chris's hair is so crisp. It's so like
it looks like it's
so
a PNG. Like it was. Yeah, Storyblocks provided Chris's hair.png for you.
But yeah, if you're wondering what the housing the Dr. Teacher resides in, this is it. He is the brain to this person.
It's fucked up. The fucked up thing is that we could make a great puppet out of this face, but we should not.
God. Wow. If this became that was what I loved about doing the hyper realistic Dr. Teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
Was
yeah.
Like the
aesthetic of like
that idea, but I love that.
Yeah, it's like it reminds me of like Kablam, or like the do you remember the title card for Classy Cluspo, the cartoon company that made like Rugrats and stuff, that has like the weird eyes in the mouth that were all like from different people, and it was just kind of like weirdly blinking, like kind of smile and stuff like that. Like I love that aesthetic so much. It's very, very manic and cool. But yeah, what's his name? Like realistic Dr. Teacher was a very horrifying thing. But yeah, in some way to bring Dr. Teacher back, I'd love to figure out for sure. I thought about once doing like a research show, like it's Dr. Teacher like surfing Twitch or surfing YouTube and stuff like that, which is just a react show, but as Dr. Teacher. But you know, like it would allow any of us to pick up the mantle and just kind of like do a fun, like community-based thing or something like that. Or I don't know. I think he has grounds to come back at some point, but how? Just not sure.
Then
there's
the idea
Teddy.
of the collective brain thing. Or just like because I liked the symbol of just like a uniting force of the five of us, and Dr. Teacher. That would be like a perfect symbol for that. I just don't know how like
Makes
it would
sense.
integrate into like a show-to-show basis. Like what you're saying is interesting about bringing it back for a specific format, but like. Yeah, when Super Pizza brought up like it's kind of like this unifying thing. I just don't. I mean, maybe he just says a few words up top to just provide an intro, and then it goes into the trailer or something. But it is interesting, and he's still the sub badge. He's still hanging out next to the name. So
him and Teddy are still the faces of the show, and like we're so lucky to have had mascots like them. I mean, like, shouts out to Julie for designing Dr. Teacher too.
Oh yeah. A character that anyone can.
He can host like the long form stuff.
I wonder if I have maybe I can find a clip of him.
Yeah, there's a good clip
Just
out there for
to-
sure.
Just to
I'll address the rest of the chats. We're just watching videos of soup for an hour. That would be great. Soup hour with Dr. Teacher. Just looking up soup plantation and soup videos. Yeah, we're looking for a clip.
and everyone
And yeah,
loves
someone
a
else
cute,
brought up-
everyone loves a cute mascot, a cute animated mascot.
And he is very adorable and just kind of has the like he has like underdog energy to him, or just like kind of like the like, oh, I'm just trying to put on a good show kind of thing. At least
Yeah.
how we've done him before. I did like playing realistic Dr. Teacher as like he's letting loose. This is his. He's not necessarily on the clock.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a little bit of a dick. I don't know. But yeah, I do miss him. I do miss him and Teddy. Someone brought up Teddy earlier. That was a hard thing to break too, just because it just made so much sense as an idea, but it was just so not conducive with the show. It would just like actively be a hard thing to work with as we're doing everything now, just to like actually stop and give the tattoos. Yeah, we can never figure it out. Hold on, Super Pizza. Whenever you guys switch a new scene, is an opportunity to use Dr. Teacher as a host. I was thinking that too for the long form improv, or even like if we have like B games for any of the main show formats, he could be just kind of like the Jonathan Frakes or something like that, or the who's the guy who hosted Twilight Zone, just like the narrator who like is telling the story and like can zoom out and he can say what's going on.
Something that I do like about the long form though is that we're just ourselves in between scenes, which is fun, and we can
so
like
naked.
We can do like banter with the chat, which is something that we've never really had up until this point. Which is
I almost want to like emphasize that more too, like almost like lengthen the hangout time in between scenes or something. Because you watch like an Uncle Joe show or something like that, which, you know, we're our own thing, obviously. But like, I just kind of love like we should probably like maybe pick some different music if we wanted to, and then just kind of like talk with the chat for a little bit, like a 5-minute like grace period between doing scenes or something like that. It could stand to benefit, maybe, I don't know, us like a combination of the pre-show thing we were experimenting with, in addition to the long form thing. Maybe that's a thought I had.
No, I think that's like. I think that's great. I would, I agree. I'd love to do that too. I feel like how we're doing it now, we feel like we need to get a new suggestion ASAP, but maybe like if it's more of like an open conversation, then out of that conversation, one of us could be like, I have an idea for a scene.
Exactly.
Can you take us there?
Yeah.
And we can still do,
exactly.
we can still do stuff that's like direct suggestions where people are like, I want to see an astronaut doing this, which are super fun too. But then we can have like, you know, casual conversations, and then it's like the living room. I think it's called the living room pattern. Is that a pattern game? I don't know. Excellent improviser here. But I think it's an opening called the living room, where basically it's that thing where you just like talk casually amongst your team of improvisers, and then you do a long form set from it.
Yeah, I think that's a very natural way of us being able to do that. And I like that we can kind of experiment with how the long form stuff goes. I mean, like, I'd love to do another artist-based format where, you know, someone like Squishy Tay or another artist comes on and draws the backgrounds and stuff. Could be
That was so good.
Really good. Yeah, it really was. Yeah, I'm like upset that we can't do that all the time. It's just so awesome. And I love engineering the long form shows. I'd love to try it again just because it gives me a chance.
Yeah, that was super cool. That was a feat in itself.
I was shocked that it worked. I was just so nervous about doing it, but like made it work. And I think I know how to. I think I made my vMix layout much cleaner for the nenext time I do engineer, so that I'm not like panic placing in stream elements for, you know, like web code and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to find.
Super Pizza.
It's been a while since we
one of
used
my favorite
Dr.
episodes was It was last time we used them for, I'm sure, the last panel format, which I think is Etiquette, starring one Robert Schultz and Cole. Super Pizza says, guys, one of my favorite episodes was the dream episode where you guys revealed the cast. The real cast is in a dream comas or something. I still want to know where that storyline goes. I don't even remember what episode that was. We've done like 2 dream episodes.
That was the one where Chris and Jake were hosting
That's
together.
the dream analysis episode where I was in the green screen suit puppeting Teddy. I thought that was such a fun thing to do.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then there were a couple episodes in that time where we would end it and be like, well, it's us. we're breaking the meta. Rod Sterling, yes, Curly Whirly Curly, thank you. Chonks is such a great creation. Another 24-hour stream. That 12-hour marathon was such a, like, I'm so upset that we can't do that again.
I know.
I mean, like, anytime soon.
We had plans to, too. It's just like...
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Baseboy 16. Have you ever done dramatic improv? I haven't really personally. Like I've like tried making short films that are improv heavy and are dramatic. But I had the idea to do a Lyft episode that was modeled after this movie called Night on Earth, which is it's like a drama about cab drivers all across the globe and on the same evening. And I don't know, like dramatic improv definitely is interesting. It would be very maybe hard to sell some people on it, but I think it's something worth experimenting with. Grab some water for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Dramatic improv is very, very, very fascinating. Like, you can really, especially with our show, we're so character heavy that I feel like, yeah, please do. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely would like to workshop a dramatic improv thing on this show sometime.
Oh, thank you, Aiden. I got this at a thrift store in San Francisco.
It's a good jacket. Yeah. Also, Squishy Tay. Yeah, someone shouted out. Good. Love the art episode. I miss doing those frequently. Motion design. Hi, how's it going? Have you thought about using a random background location to drive long-form stories? That's interesting. Like, maybe the engineer can, like, pick one at random, and then the improvisers will kind of, like, find themselves in it and start, using that as inspiration. Or, again, the audience can give us a location, then the engineer just picks one. Yeah, that thing is so loose, our Wednesday shows, that it's like, we can try anything like that. We can just try any of those formats. Yeah, for dramatic improv, the line definitely seems fine between impactful and cheesy, for sure, 100%. Yeah, I love mumble.
I think it's like very impactful. Like sneak it into the comedy stuff, like just
pathos.
Just making the stakes higher for a character in like I don't know, like improv. I feel like now that's been mainstreamed, it's like UCB is very much like, where's the funny? Let's find the funny, which is super useful for like just maintaining a scene. But once you get past that, you can get to a point where you start thinking about like, oh, like what am I gonna learn from this scene as my character? Like, what is the goal here for this? Like, is there an arc that we can like come to, which we establish in formats too, of like, whether it's Jill Brado or Aristotle, just like
Mr. Grayson.
finding like an in episode arc that they like go through. And
they're in tandem in a way.
Yeah, and it's also like it's almost easier, at least for me, to do that while improvising, is like actually free yourself up to have genuine reactions emotionally in character, which can kind of lead to more genuine moments where it doesn't feel cheesy. I feel like where it gets cheesy, and maybe what you're referencing, Bass Boy, is like when it's kind of like set up to be dramatic, which is kind of contrived and just doesn't really seem authentic in improv. It's like
there's a pretension to it.
Yeah. But there will come a time where you're like in character and then you say something fucked up to another character, and then like that character can like actually react the way they would and there could be like a kind of comfort between performers to where we can just have a real moment between two characters for a second and then go back into what the funny thing is. On like the most recent Dungeons and Dragons episode, when Marta, my old lady character, cut Sydney's character's hair to like show that or try to prove a point that you need to stop caring about how you look on the outside. Skipjack got like extremely pissed and had this whole like very sad moment outside, which is like sometimes you got to take kind of big swings with characters and see how you're gonna react or how the other character will react. But that's kind of like what I chase when improvising at this point. Like we've all done plenty of like, okay, let's do improv for comedy's sake, but now it's more about discovery, I feel like, especially on the show.
Yeah, offering up characters not only through our interaction as writers and improvisers and performers, but to the audience, as kind of Super Pete's saying here, like for torture and for empathy, you know, like I think it's such an incredible, I can't imagine anything. I mean, not to say like, you know, not to, you know, to toot our own horns too much, but like it is so interesting to let the audience in on a character and like see what they do with it, do with them, and like are they willing to, you know, spare them and empathize with them, or like I think Jonks is such a funny, not binary, but like very direct way of thinking about it, where it's like, is this character a bad person? Do they deserve to die? It is like a cartoonish way of looking at morality, but it is very, very direct, you know, like yeah, especially with like, you know, Mr. Grayson and Jill Brado, their characters who are driven to the brink of insanity pretty frequently. I like that our heroes are often very like, you know, capable of losing their minds. But even someone like Kat, I think, is so charming, and like, you know, I'm inspired when I watch Kat, like to like with how I want to handle Aristotle, just like super emotionally grounded and really trying to do their best. Like you put it like this in the Slack. I was talking about how I was trying to figure out how to like how do I feel more comfortable playing Aristotle, but it's like playing an individual who's just trying to get by throughout the day is like infinitely more relatable than anything else, you know, to everybody watching, you know, like it is something to easily put your shoes in, because living a life, I don't know, like I was about to say something very loaded, but like living a life if you're not rich, but no, just like trying to live an everyday life is just so so grounded, and something that we can all find ourselves rooted in, you know. And I'm inspired by you guys, and I do miss improvising with you guys in person. I feel like, and unfortunately there is kind of a wall when I'm doing it over the phone, but
yeah,
it still kind of works.
I've been missing your presence, like IRL too. It's just been like so difficult, like not having you in the studio performing with us. I'm so glad that we can still do it in this way, but it'll be so nice when you can come back in. And like to your point about you know, playing characters that are very grounded, I feel like people, like beginners to improv, have this problem a lot, where they feel like they need to come in with like this huge character with like this crazy personality, or like something that's like larger than life, where it's like the funniest thing and the best thing in improv is like to just be as not even grounded, but like be as just like act like it's a full person. Like a lot of the times, like when we brought up Jonks with like having to, you know, when the chat gets to decide to kill someone, I love making it so it's like this person is very unlikable at first. So it's like, okay, I kill him, and then start to say things that make you regret, like say things that are like, you know, yeah, okay, is it cool if I like just tell my wife and my like 3 children that I'm gonna be fed to a giant stone monster, or like something that's just like makes it more morally gray, because there are no like, that's the fun thing with like streaming too with improv. It's like you can make these characters so 3-dimensional, and it's like with Cleopatra, like after dancing and doing like this whole dance thing, and everyone's like, yeah, Cleopatra's awesome. It's like like granted 3 wishes, I think. It's like to be the best dancer in Miami, to be the best dancer in Boca Raton, and then it's like to make it legal to kill cats. Was like they're like, give her a 3rd wish, and then she's like, I want to make it legal to kill a cat whenever you'd like to, and then they're like, oh, but it's just like, you know, not every character is totally good or totally bad, and having to like reckon with that is super fun and super just like eye-opening to like figuring out how to interact with like anybody in the world. That's just like
it's such a weird thing too. Like there shouldn't be a dichotomy between host characters and cavalcade characters, even if the cavalcade opens you up to essentially create characters out of game. You know, like if someone's like, I hate this about the world, or like I'm scared of this, then as your fellow improvisers are then like, you know, inspired to create a character that is exactly that, to challenge the host character or something. But like when you play those characters, if given the opportunity and, you know, given the time and space, it's great to like actually give them dimension as well, because then it complicates things further, makes it much more engrossing, and the audience can ask questions of them and whatnot. I like to explore these characters. Like I used to be worried that Lift was boring, but I kind of like love giving the audience a chance to ask questions of the character. It's such a weird collaborative improv process. Like, it's like, I guess, where else would you be having weird small talk and learn about a random individual for a little bit of time than in a lift or a cab or something?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of a fun way to like add dimension to a character that seems at first just like a 2D, absolutely insane creation. We have some stuff in the chat here.
We got a clip. Let's play this.
Let's see.
This is from Rocky's.
Yeah. Let's watch a little. Oh.
You want to give some background to this episode?
Yes. Yeah, I had this character, PWG Nickel F. Buckle, who I wish I was more comfortable playing. I just wish I don't know, I miss improv. It's hard for me to like work the muscle sometimes out here, but doing streams by myself is good. Anyway, this guy had his own show, and I would love to do another one, but it was just kind of like this combination of like kids show, teaching the audience about the film industry, and like there's this character played by our friend of the show, Ryan Steffelman, who was a puppet, and he was kind of the intern at a film company, and we just kind of ran him through the ringer of like what it takes to like get lunch for 4 bosses and remember what they are. Like it was literally like I created a memory game. And also, like, there's one game that I loved. That was the first time we created a dialogue tree where your boss forces you to divorce them from their wife over the phone, and so you had to like pick the right dialogue choices and stuff. It was bonkers and so much work, and it was so much to try.
It was also at the time like you were working as a PA, so it was like this was like a show written from the perspective of a puppet. It was basically like it wasn't like a 1-for-1, but it's like it was expressing the frustrations you had of like doing this job and kind of like putting them into, which is like another cool thing that this show can do, is just like actually having that outlet to express, you know, the frustrations in real time with like the entertainment industry. And this, I think this is the monologue that Pete does, right?
Yeah, I wrote this, and he also like embellished with it a little bit too, because he's also in the industry and understands like the absolute insanity of being an underling in a hierarchy that creates the entertainment that we all love and don't even think about how it's made. Let's see how it goes.
I mean, look around the city. It's filled with sad, disenfranchised children who were desperate for means of escape in their youth. They use cartoons, musicals, superheroes.
Let me turn it up real quick.
Sure. Good find, K-Weeb.
Yeah, this is a great clip. Turn up again.
You could educate people on improv tricks and rules. I really loved the improv stream that Chris and Jake did.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
Definitely.
I mean,
even if it is like... Yeah. There. No, good.
Around the city, it's filled with sad, disenfranchised children who were desperate for means of escape in their youth. They use cartoons, musicals, superheroes, all for means just desperate to get out of their own minds. Dreaded existentialism, mom and dad's divorce, self-hatred ideology. They use the entertainment that they watched as children to distract from being alive. And then those children, realizing around puberty probably, that they were going to need to pick some sort of career path, so they picked their childhood escape. And they come to Los Angeles or New York, depending on their allergy diagnosis, and enter this industry, making their childhood escapes their professional realities. And now there is no escape. They can't escape. The one thing they truly loved will cause them loss of a tax return, imposing migraines, lack of meaningful relationships. I mean, if only that genuine joy of creation, combined with the childhood magic of escapism, was celebrated. I mean, look around the city. It's filled with sad, disenfranchised children.
I was definitely working out a lot of stuff there for sure. that was a fun one-off to try. But yeah, that was a fun episode, and bless everyone for really being willing to play along with that. There was so much shit going on in that episode. I wrote like 6 segments. But yeah, shit, man. Yeah, it's I still believe that. I was like shocked at how sad the thing I wrote is, just in that clip there. But bless Pete for even
so much
being
Muppet energy. Muppet energy
Yeah,
of just
right?
like spilling like some real shit from a puppet. It's just like
Yeah.
let's watch some Dr.
Yeah, from the
Teacher.
sleeve of a. Please, yes.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, your favorite brain in a jar Dr. Teacher, for another episode of Everything Now. And guys, this is an exciting one because it is the premiere of season 4. That's right. You're probably thinking, you guys were off? And yes, we were technically off in our hiatus period. We were not bringing in new experts to teach you guys, but now we are starting with new episodes, with new experts to teach you all about the things you want to know. And today we have a special theme actually suggested by a viewer, the Blessed One, which is space. Yes, space, the great unknown, what exists outside of our planet, in the stars, in the astral bodies, in just other stuff that's way out there. Like, who knows? I mean, there could be weird alien dogs that float around and bark at other alien neighbors. You know, we really don't know a whole lot. But yeah, hey, hi Masio. If anybody's in the chat, say hi. What's your favorite part about space? What's your favorite part about the great unknown? Please shout it out.
I love off-screen clapping as well. It is such a strong tool. In my opinion, it's also as good as like bleeping. I think censoring cursing is so funny to me. Like in Arrested Development is like as an example of that. Anyway, go ahead.
Thinking a note about Dr. Teacher's, like whoever's voicing Dr. Teacher is engineering, so like this long-winded monologue that I just did is a big staple of Dr. Teacher, because basically the engineer is like preparing the stream and it's like, oh yeah, I have to do this weird intro for this thing, so then you get these like awkward
introduce the theme and the guests. Yeah,
you get these like awkward, just like elongated, improvised things that are supposed to be insightful on the topic, but just end up being like very like weird and just
rambly.
Yeah. Out in the chat.
Yeah, good.
And so we have 3 wonderful experts with us tonight. I'm gonna go over to them right now. So please give a warm welcome.
We went hard. Also, can you pause for a second?
Audio levels.
I love the comment that you made that like this is apparently the premiere of season 4, which is funny. I don't know, people. So a lot of these folks who are watching right now probably don't know this, but like we did like 9 episodes of panels as season 3. That was after like a big break that we did, and then we decided, okay, we'll like plan a couple more like panel shows. In between, we'll try and do some like smaller, lower lift type episodes, and they were as engrossing and more complicated than anything we've done on the show before. And they like were these art formats and these acting formats, and we did music and all that kind of stuff. So to label this as the beginning of a season was psychotic to us because we were just working as hard as possible, as if there was a dichotomy of the kind of work we were doing. It was just like, well, we're still doing the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, the
Nick says,
characters.
oh man, it's Dr. Teacher. This is when the show was good. And yes, thank you, Nix. Back when the show was good.
Yes, about 100 episodes or so ago. 100 plus. This is 42. We're on like 178 or something. Yeah.
There
Oh my God.
we are. Oh, and goodbye. And so, starting on your right,
yes,
we have. Let me grab. Yep, we have Lieutenant Dante Alphonse Lagrange. And say hello, Lieutenant Dante.
Greetings and salutations. Good evening to the ladies and gentlemen out there.
And next to him, in the beautiful silver apparel, we have none other than Anton Chekhov, Soviet cosmonaut.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
I cannot believe we did this show.
It's a pleasure having you. And next to him, in all red skin, I believe, is we have Glorpy Giuliani, intergalactic constitutional attorney.
Greetings, thank you for having me.
And we're getting some feedback that the audio is off, which is perfect.
Hello.
Can you hear them?
Can you hear us? Hello.
Can you hear me out there?
Are you able to hear us?
Is this being understood?
Let us know if you can hear them talking in the microphone.
Is what I'm saying now heard?
Please let us know in the chat. They weren't close enough to the mic. Is this close enough for you?
That's a great point.
Can you hear me out there? What a disaster.
Is this working now?
Okay, great. And this is Glorpy Giuliani, intergalactic constitutional attorney. Hello, Glorpy. And then
Greetings.
to the very left, we have just a regular person, Matt Real, real guy. So please welcome Matt. He will be our bystander, our commentator. So hello, Matt.
Hello. Hello.
Great. And yeah, and I'm gonna pop back in.
Yeah, I do
Hello.
miss having a normal
And,
guest.
we're
What
gonna
a
head
what a
back
good
to the main
energy to
set here.
have.
So guys, on this episode of Everything Now, we're going to go through and have these three experts give us a little bit of knowledge because we have... I get what you're saying, or what everyone's saying about Dr. Teacher. I wonder if you guys in the chat have ideas of how he could be incorporated back in, because like I do agree it's nice to have like just like a familiar
like an MC.
face, I guess. Yeah, an MC, but just also like the just like a welcoming presence, I guess. I'd be interested to hear.
He's inherently very, very comforting, technically, even though he is kind of like the engineer, scattered and like pulling cords and trying to set shit up, at the same time. But he has like
there's
a calm
mascot,
voice.
Super Pizza. Yeah, you're right.
Looks cute. Yeah, he's everything. I don't know. Hi, Joseph.
He's my everything.
I miss him so much.
Replace a character's head with
This
his
episode's
head.
fun. Also, just a note that I think it's insane that we did a sequel to this episode with these characters. It's
Oh my
just,
God.
like, truly for nobody. It was like so far away from that episode that the few people who watched this episode probably weren't even watching that next episode. But
Yeah.
in my like weird comedy universe brain, I just really like that we even gave the effort to like see what happens when we send these three weirdos into space.
So this episode
And,
42 was the first one, and then we did
Yeah.
the sequel happened, and like 12 episodes
54?
later.
Jesus Christ. But the sequel one is where Julie's stranded on a separate planet from everyone else. Yes, it is Super Pizza.
guys.
And Julie's Dr. Teacher in this one.
How are you doing? Hello,
And we
chat.
often couldn't get his mouth to
Hello,
work.
Daddy Kev. Hello, Wicked Lazy. Hello, Maniac Marissa.
That's a familiar name.
Hello. Well, you know me. It's your friend, Dr. Teacher, your favorite brain in a jar. How's everyone doing? Hello and welcome to another episode of Everything Now, the show that cracks open your skull.
Poggers, Wicked
and of
Lazy.
course,
Yeah,
Wicked
fills it up
Lazy in
with
the chat.
knowledge. I hope
On
you're all
TV.
feeling
And Daddy
out of this
Kev.
world,
Wait, Daddy Kev
like
is
you
Daddy Kev
can
K-Weeb or is
blast
Mrs.
off
Manface
at
Mrs.
any
K-Weeb?
minute.
Manface, K-Weeb.
Oh, yes. Today is a space episode.
Daddy Kev's just Daddy Kev.
So you're all my little stars today. Hi, Daddy Kev. Oh, thanks for throwing up those little robot guys. So you might remember, you might not. Last time we journeyed to space, we sent Glorpy Giuliani, Lieutenant Dante Alphonse Lagrange, and Anton Chekhov to a space colony that was going to be
Just
our
making
own
her say
place
those
to
names
hang out in
is so
space.
funny.
But we kind of forgot which planet it was on. So we're going to need your guys' help while we look for that planet and, of course, our space explorer who's up there.
Also, this is entirely inclusive from the B game of the last episode too, right? I feel like we should go back and see
The B
Julie's
game being
B
that we're
game.
building a space colony?
No, the B game being
Is that what you're... No, what was the B game?
Julie's B game was her doing
Oh,
the
stranded on
videos.
a planet. Oh, yes! Yeah, same character. Yeah, she has been sent into space and she is stuck on a random planet and we have to try and find her.
We used to do
And
transition
she's sending out
games.
signals.
Yeah, we used to do transition
Yeah.
games between presentations, and this was the one. Where is it? Were you the first?
There's
to
that
go?
robot guy. Thanks, Aiden. A B game is a transition game, as Alex is saying. I was first to go, where essentially we'll do a segment. Like, for example, A games would be the presentations in the panel format, and then in between each presentation, we'll do a segment that is essentially like its own plot. And for this one, it was that Julie was sent into space to start a space colony, and she just kind of like in between each presentation sends us a new signal and shows us how horrifying the planet is that she landed on.
Space log number 1. Hi, you guys. My name is Winnie Wanderwell, and I am so honored and excited to be the very first person to be up here at Everything Now's very own space colony. How exciting is that? It's actually particularly exciting for me because my great-grandmother was Aloha Wanderwell, who was kind of a little-known Canadian explorer. And that's actually what I want to talk to you guys about. I heard that this is a show where they crack your skull open and fill it with knowledge, and so I thought I'd use these videos as a way to teach you guys a little bit about my great-grandma while also updating you on what I'm doing up here in space and how I'm carrying on her legacy. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, my grandma and I actually had very similar starts. For instance, she answered an ad in the newspaper that was asking for strong and brave women to go on an expedition across the globe. And I, of course, answered an email from my supervisor that said, everyone who is supposed to go on this trip is sick from a buffet at a party that we were never going to tell you about. Can you fill in? And I, of course, said, yes. I am so glad I don't have plans on my birthday. Yes, of course I'll go. My grandma was also famous for driving across 43 different states in a Model T at the age of 16. Meanwhile, I am a 27-year-old woman who was just recently told that I have the energy of a much older, dying woman. And I got to go on an exploration to a colony funded by a private brain in a jar. And I got to fly there in a beige spaceship called the Afterthought. So, yeah. Besides that, I mean, it's just day one, so I don't have a whole lot to report yet. But I guess... Oh, I know what I was gonna do. I heard that the atmosphere up here actually changes things, and makes tastes more enhanced or different than they are on Earth. So I figured since it's been a big day, I made it to the colony, I would do the first beer on the Everything Now space colony. So
Miller
cheers
High Life, tall
to
boy.
our future together,
Yeah.
and let's do this. Oh, and it tastes like ragu. It tastes exactly like ragu. What an adventure this is gonna be, guys! I'm so excited for all of this. Down the hatch.
So comments on Super Pizza's comment that Julie might be the funniest person they've ever seen, no exaggeration. Yeah, I think all 5 of us agree on that, and we feel
Confirmed.
crazy that she ever did this show.
Myth
The fact that
confirmed.
she was... And also worked on it so whole hog and would, like, really play with the bullshit that we were doing. Like, we really opened ourselves up in this really bizarre playground of nonsense comedy, and we're creating characters and universes around them. Danny Wiley's characters, Lily Wiley, Mrs. Son Richard, and like the blossoming characters that you would build together with that stuff was so...
I want to do the
Oh,
creating
so
drama
amazing. That was so much fun.
Again, I miss that fucking form
I miss
so
it,
much.
dude. Those 2 formats and the panel, like, if we ever get a little bit of money and I'm like, you know, another, I don't know. If I had my druthers about me, I would, like, love to produce all these kinds of episodes again. Like, they're just so much fun. They're so interactive, too. Like, they're just so, yeah, I don't know. A couple questions from the chat. Super Pizza, please keep on giving us bizarre radio requests. The radio on the lift episodes is one of my favorite interactive bits that we have. I love that we can
It's so good.
do that. People can just say nonsense suggestions and it inspires improv. Kevin MTM, we actually asked, you might have stepped away, if we would love to bring back Dr. Teacher in some capacity. If you have any ideas on how we can include him, feel free to pitch them in suggestion box in the Discord or something.
Yeah, it's more of like a
Anyone else?
because we're trying to, before the conceit of the show was that Dr. Teacher was funding these experts to come on, and like that was like a nice place for
Yes.
him to fit in there.
Friends in high places.
Now the show is like kind of like a video game that you play each week. I don't even know if there's it should be that there's a conceit. Like that's maybe something that we're worrying too much about.
Yeah.
But also like
Probably.
I just want to avoid like making it more confusing than it already is. But if you guys like Dr. Teacher and he's great, like I totally hear you guys, and I can see how he can be just a good mascot tool thing to have around. And maybe we can just
definitely
maybe
worth
it's just
keeping
even
around.
existing in his own space, like at the top of the show, just to say hi to everyone.
Yeah.
Might be easy enough to do.
I liken it to Jackbox Married an Improv Cast. That's a very charming way of putting it. Our show. Yeah, I would not mind having him like just be a little like introduction guy, just to say hello to the chat before the show starts. I had a couple notes here I wrote down before I came on. But yeah, we can keep on looking through clips while I ask these. I don't know if that's all right.
Yeah, no, go for it.
So, first one, I've considered using my time slot for streaming, to do editing streams to make highlight reels for the show. I wonder if people would be interested in that. Because I think one thing, at least I miss is like, we have so many hours of the show that like I think we stand to just have so much like edited content that we could share with people. That'd be cool. Definitely interested. Because also you guys can throw us to like certain moments of episodes, and make sure that we put together the funniest highlight reel possible. Like if I pick like, okay, we're gonna do the Disneyland commercial from the audition, then you can like point out like there was really one really funny moment from that there, and all that kind of stuff. I can just get those clips quickly. But yeah, so I'll try that sometime. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think also like approaching it from like a overview of the entire channel, like something that I just even came to from today going through clips is just going through the amount of music / dance clips that we have and like putting that on a Twitter thread was really cool. Just like finding like a unifying thing, or if it's just like a character, like Dino Longucci has been in so many different formats across the whole thing, like making a video that's just like introducing him and then like doing that. I think we'll kind of, it's good to have format highlights, which I feel like is the natural thing to do first, but it's also cool to have these like highlights that kind of showcase that the show is a bunch of different things at that, and like kind of finding a theme that like is a specific look into that, but can show the different scenarios that the show has gone through.
Yeah, that's a great point. I feel like like today was a very unique example of like celebration, you know, like or musical celebration and stuff. I think that was a cool game to look for in terms of like a unifying theme. But yeah, I like the idea of like opening it up to be all of our stuff, because it'll show how varied the damn thing could be. We have so many different backgrounds, so many different actions and stuff like that. Maybe it could be like, you know, like we can do a highlight reel of like character deaths or violence, and all the fight scenes and stuff like that. Another thing I brought up recently was doing a highlight reel of commercials. Like, we'd like to thank our sponsors, such as, and it could be just like 3 seconds from each commercial, and they're all just absolute insanity.
Yeah,
like sand tasting
really
tours,
cool.
and the fact that sand tasting tours exists is like funny enough as it is, and then to show someone coughing up sand and like, you know, trying to talk and stuff.
Yeah,
but, that's a good point. I'll keep that in mind. But I think I definitely would like to do a stream where we create stuff. And yeah, we people were joking about the OnlyFans recently. We have a TikTok, and I mean, like, they're separate, obviously, but like we're talking about things we can do with it, and like posting our advertisements on there, especially, is one thing that has come up, and I think could be good use. I still desperately want you to play through Disco Elysium, but it's still not out for Switch. Well, I can't even connect my Switch to my PC, so I can just buy it for Steam and then play it that way. I do want to play video games. I do miss it. We'll do that soon. I promise. I had some other things I wanted to bring up. Subscription stuff, like what we do for subscriptions. I mean, like, I feel like, I mean, we dropped Teddy. We talked about it earlier on why we don't do Teddy anymore. But this kind of like maybe is a sub question of an overall thing of like, what could we do more for our audience, if anything? I mean, like the fact that we're engaging with everybody and like kind of like, you know, creating a safe space in our Discord, theoretically safe space for us to just kind of communicate and chill and goof around and stuff like that. And hopefully you guys like the community that we're building, and we think you're all awesome. But I don't know. I wonder if like there's more that we could do within reason of 5 people who are working, you know, like, and trying to put on a show at the same time too.
Something that Jake brought up, there was a good idea of having like a monthly sub goal, which is just like, if we hit this many subs in the month, we'll break open a piñata, or like the equivalent of that, like doing like a kind of a big stunt on stream to that same thing. But having like
sub goals is a good idea.
Or like even like doing a format that people really like, that is kind of like a higher lift, or like like takes more work for us to do. Like we'll feel like more incentivized if, like, you know, we're seeing that people like really want to help us hit the goal or whatever, and then we'll feel like, oh yeah, we want to reward our viewers for supporting us and doing that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Trying to pull up my doc, because we need to also start just like writing things down, and then actually coming up with action items for them.
That's a good point. I wrote down some of the stuff we were just talking about, but in case you need it. Yeah, my notes here. Chris Clone-esque sequence for subs. That it's also show interrupting. Commercials for subs is something we can do, because commercials seem like a very great fluid thing that we can do, even though it interrupts a format. But we can always just, like, you know, it's a good prompt, give us a concept, we'll make a sketch for you on the spot, essentially.
That's cool, actually. I really like that.
Right? I mean, like, if someone gifts us 5 subs, does that mean we're going to do 5 commercials in a row? Maybe, if we want to do that, or maybe it's, I don't know, like, that's a contingency we have to think about. Daily streams and earlier at night. I'm East Coast. Yeah, moving to 7 was actually, I feel like, was a big move for us, and I felt like it paid off, or hopefully is paying off. It feels good. What else is there that I had in my notes? Do we rebrand ourselves? Do we rename everything? How can we do more for the viewers and community that feel in line with our show? I agree that I like the sub goals thing. I think it's a great idea, actually. Cool. That's kind of all I had in my notes here.
What was the last thing you were saying? Sorry. The last note.
I was just reading through my. How do we feel more? How do we do more for the viewers and community that feel in line with our show? And I think the suggestion that Jake brought up that you were just discussing is a very fantastic way of doing that, because it'll essentially inspire our programming. If the show's doing well enough that we could actually use these funds and our time for the sake of pleasing our audience in the way that they want to be pleased. That was a terrible way to say that.
I think the commercial idea is really cool. I feel like maybe we don't even get a prompt, because I feel like that's one of the things that kind of held up with the Teddy stuff is somebody will subscribe and then we kind of point a gun at them and are like, "What do you want?"
Tell us what to do. Tell us what to do.
Where it's instead of if someone subs, we take their name, and then if something from the name inspires us to do a commercial or something where we just do a 30-second ad, and so that's just inspired by that, because then it doesn't hold it up. We can just hit it in stride, and then the person still is wow, it's really cool that they did that. And I do think that's something that's missing from just our subscribers. I don't hate it, but I just dislike that it's gotten to hey, thanks. Hey, thanks for subscribing for 14 months. Agreed. Which is just such a huge deal that it's I feel like it deserves more. And the commercials are something that seems pretty easy to just directly integrate. It's and it looks like we got a commercial coming in from our new sponsor, insert name here, and then we do a commercial for them.
Yeah, that could be really, really fun. I'll write that down. And another thing, I love the idea of reruns, and I'd love to help do that very soon, just so we can kind of have that become a consistent thing.
Yeah, I think we should probably start that up next week, since now that most of the election stuff is passing by.
Super Pizza, I might take you up on that offer, or at least maybe I'll buy half of it or something, or fuck it, I'll just buy Disco Elysium. You'll need to do that. That's very nice of you. I also bought Resident Evil 7 and 2, and I want to play all of it. I got Fallout New Vegas. I thought that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. You guys can make me play a bad guy or something. I don't know. Yeah, we can do reruns starting next week. That'd be really fun. We can kind of just shift. Hey, Super Pizza, you're very, very kind. Were you pulling something up, Alex? Was I interrupting something?
Oh no, I'm taking notes. I know you're taking notes, but I also want to make it so that we actually do some actionable items going forward. So we talked about Doctor Teacher. We'll bring that up with the cast and see how we can bring him back in a natural way.
Thank you for saying that and saying it like that.
No problem. And I'm going to also start my ASMR stream. Sub goals, we're going to talk about the commercial thing. We'll talk about a monthly sub goal too.
Yeah.
But the commercial for subs is fun. Reruns, let's start that next week. What else did we bring up that we were talking about tonight?
Baseball card style bios for each cast member, so that we can...
Yeah, bios. New games,
And then I'm going to ask the Discord for PNGs for long forms, and just in general, just so I can use them more often for the show.
The
And
ENS
boy,
wiki has a lot of info.
that
yeah.
wiki. God.
There's
If only I had the
there's too
fucking
much
headspace to...
content. What if we had like a wiki
Truly.
stream?
Wow,
Just
I would
going through
love to
and
do that.
logging stuff in the wiki.
Just like,
That'd be fun for
at
the
the very
chat, I
least,
feel
just
like,
creating
too.
pages for every episode.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that'd be like a good way to get the chat involved in it too. And just like,
Could be good.
even if it's like, it could be a part of this stream too. If we're trying to make this more
I was just thinking
structured, of
that,
just
yeah.
being like, oh, we just revisited this episode. Let's see if it's connected to the wiki.
Yeah,
Lore stream.
That's really
Yeah,
funny.
almost all.
Thank you.
streams.
We
Lore stream?
eat the money.
Lore
Yes.
Thank
Yum,
you,
yum.
Vape Nation 311.
Babe Nation.
And yes, we did vote for Kanye.
Yeah, we both voted for Kanye.
Yeah.
And we're happy with the results. We think it
100
worked out
bits
very
for
well.
each of our votes for Kanye.
Thank you. That's why we voted for the bits.
It's all about the bits.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, it's all about the bits.
It's all
I like that.
about the
Lore stream's a cool
bits.
idea. What else do we talk about? Yeah, I don't know. Editing streams, I'll be trying some of those out at some point, maybe. The TikTok. Would it be helpful, you think, for us to like edit clips that we want to post on TikTok to be vertical, like as in like zooming in and like making it the actual aspect ratio, adding like the pan and scan style zooms,
Yeah.
maybe adding some
I
text
wonder
even.
what it would look like if we just like threw it in and try to do it on the app. Because like, I'm down.
It would just be like black bars top and bottom. It's just kind of awkward.
You
but
can't
I mean,
like you can't like zoom it in with the.
I actually haven't worked with TikTok's editing
fellow kids.
tools too much. Hey, friends.
Old man,
Children.
man, trying to understand TikTok. Can't you just throw any kind of video onto TikTok and just? But
Hi,
yeah.
Clear Joker.
Hi.
Oh, yeah,
did
how many
vote
times did you vote for Kanye?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
as
I voted for them
As much as they let us.
illegally in
Wrote 'em in.
Florida,
Several times.
Georgia.
Alex flew to Florida to vote for
Michigan.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
It worked.
14/9. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Classic. Shoot, is there anything else we need to want to discuss? Any clips that we can just like randomly pop ourselves onto and just discuss for a fun
Yeah, we can watch some
hot
clips.
second?
It's time for some clips, and this is when we would play the clip.
It's clip time.
The clip bumper. You know, this is where you go like.
It's clip time. Brought to you by Sprite.
Brought to you by Sprite. Yes.
Sprite was such a funny.
That
was such a good element of the corporate arc.
Denny's, because it's the first thing that I saw.
Good. Yeah, a lot of clips from creating drama rather. That was
Probably was in this
those were some halcyon days. Yeah, dude. Was this our marathon?
I think so. Yes.
This might have been from the marathon.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with this format, it is hosted by Denny Fontoon, played by myself, and Mrs. Son Richard, played by Julie. And we do a I'm like going through the process of this, and it's so absurd. We travel into the theater of the mind, where basically we meet these players or theater actors that just kind of exist for the enjoyment of the audience, and then we create different scenes with them, and to learn more about theater, because of course Denny is a theatrical scientist that is constantly trying to learn more about theater by doing these experiments. And this is one where it was like a Denny's commercial inside of the scene. Anyway, this just made it more confusing. I should just play the clip.
And I would like half water, half milkshake.
That is a great idea. We'll put it on the menu.
Great.
Denny's will accommodate any special order.
Yes.
Always.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always.
Always
Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always
Always
Denny's.
Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Always Denny's.
Yes. This is just our
Always
college
Denny's.
improv team.
Always Denny's.
Wow.
A very, very good moment.
What a
Yeah.
treat. Oh, I need to do that thing where you open it.
A fun highlight reel would be like 2 minutes of absolute. A fun highlight reel would be like 2 minutes of.
Whoa, my
fun highlight reel.
Oh god. Okay, we're good.
What did you do to me?
Sorry.
I think I'm quitting the show because of that.
Oh, it was a good run.
Sorry. I crumble easily. Oh my gosh. Yeah, our Andy clip. We got so much. The other day, because I've been watching a lot more Twitch recently, I watched Andy Milonakis silently eat an everything bagel. And that's why I'm on Twitch.
And that's why I'm here on Twitch.
It's naturally why I'm on the platform of Twitch.
Oh, here we go.
And yes, you all witnessed it. Clip it. Oh
Here
boy.
we go.
This fucking guy. I would love to do more with this dude.
This
He's
guy's
so funny to
great.
me.
I think.
I mean, I have to do an
what's good-
Australian accent, unfortunately.
You're
but,
great at
I mean,
Australian. I,
like,
feel like
he's-
you got that. I feel like you got that accent on lock.
I don't know why I do,
With
but
Judd
it is just so
Knife
fun to
and-
do. Yeah. Yeah, all these strange Australian Filipino men and invading our show.
I think the better approach is
Yeah,
to
this
just
guy.
watch the clip and then contextualize after.
Yeah.
So
there
we'll
you go.
try it. We'll try that.
Let's do it.
You gotta get a running start, okay? You gotta dive through the window, and you're gonna do a bit of a roll. You're gonna do a bit of a roll for a safe landing, and I'm gonna do something like that, okay? And you're running down the street, everyone's already sleeping because they got work in the morning, and you're just trying your best to get your child to safety, and they're chasing right after you, and great job, everybody. That was a 2-minute workout. Thank you so much. And look at that. You've already lost 0.3 pounds.
I'm glad you got that in the
It
clip.
speaks
That's so
for
funny.
itself.
Yeah, it did kind of reveal itself to be a scary workout program by the end of that clip. It is kind of perfectly cut. Wow. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I've only done that character twice, and the second time I had technical difficulties, so I couldn't even do the bit I wanted to do. But I have, when I play that character, I have him being a very bashful kind of individual, even though he's so fucking roided out and looks so scary and insane. But he's just kind of like a guy who runs his own like fitness business in a way. And fear therapy is such a funny concept to me. Just like engross yourself in the scariest things possible in order to lose weight. Maybe I'll do something with him again. I don't know.
Yeah, he's so, that like visual is so good. I was just thinking about just watching that, having the couch constantly be in there was such like a running joke, but it's also like so interesting because it's cool having like a piece of like furniture that's just like grounded in the same reality as the person flying through these different things. But yeah, it's
Just jutted into the scene. Yeah.
yeah, different things, but yeah, it's oh no.
Oh,
What a disaster set.
Okay.
I'm back on the show because of that, actually.
Okay, cool.
Our
What a
first
disaster
voice
says hashtag State Farm.
Sorry.
And what a disaster also does not have insurance. Oh, also, Brostream is also not insured, and Team Russell is not insured.
Hell yeah, you
so-
pick your guys' destiny, man. Like,
Hell
I ain't
yeah,
gonna
dude.
tell you how to live.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Insurance is honestly expensive, and I'm probably gonna get rid of mine too. So like, hell yeah. Shouts out to the chat. All you guys are uninsured. That's rad as hell.
So simple.
Simple, so good.
God. A terrible Boys Night Zoom episode would be really funny.
Yes. Yeah, the Boys Night
Just all the
episodes
boys
are
trying-
really special.
Yeah. Yeah, that garage was pretty funny, right? That was a fun episode. That was an attempt to do a collaborative writing stream, but I think doing character improv up against that kind of not say that like not like I think that a writing stream is possible, but it was more fun to just hang out with the bros. You gotta hang out with your bros. You can't overdo it, you know.
Oh, here's a throwback.
Oh, the drawing stuff. Oh boy, this is far back. If I saw correctly. Aiden, look away. Holy shit. What episode is this?
Money, I think.
Oh, Money. Yeah, obviously.
Oh, wow.
Wow. What a tease.
Wait, the video download was canceled. What does that mean?
What's happening there? I think you broke your computer, dude.
I broke it, darn it. Is that
Aiden, look
really
away.
just like a...
Oh, yep. There it is. Oh! Good lord! Oh my god.
Julie's face.
Yeah, just so horrified. Several things I missed there. One, friend of the show, Will.
Yes.
Or, you know, Spanx. Live scoring the show it was a
something I
very
talked about
invaluable
on-
element.
Yeah, somebody talked about with Jake. It's like I missed the live music. It was so good.
Yeah, for sure.
And just the chaos.
Yeah, man. That I love art or art very, very, very much. I would love to force us to do an episode sometime just for my own, like maybe for like a birthday. I'll just ask if we can do one. But I just love the Wayne's World quality of someone trying to put on a show like that. I thought that was always so funny and charming about Russell and Radical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I miss Paven and Julie's characters. I just think we need more art on the show.
Yeah, definitely. The multimedia aspect is like something that was very, very dear. Of just like
Yeah.
bringing on people.
Super Pizza loves the ENS theme song. I have the Casio that produced the theme song, and I noodle around with it still to this day. So it's more music like the Everything Now theme song could exist. I also was pleased. I heard a Dan Deegan song that uses our Casio, and it uses the same like
That's
like the
amazing.
silly samba solo thing in it still. Yeah, maybe a couple more clips. I'm chilling. I don't know how you doing.
There's so many. What is this? What is everything now?
I know. So
Oh my god. I really miss Boys Night stuff. We need to fucking bring that back.
I'm telling you, man, it's so. It's just because it forces everyone to satirize the exact same thing all together. There's nothing funnier than a bunch of people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
In a mass. Like that's why we did the Johnny Bravo thing. We gotta. Once COVID is over in 8 years. I do want to do another Johnny Bravo-esque thing with the John Wicks. I thought, like, when we had
Yes.
Alec Robbins on, we discovered
Yes.
Stickwick, and, you know, like, I thought that was just so, like, it naturally tees up the next bit. But, God, yeah. Boys Night's so funny. I'm going to write down Boys Night Zoom call, just because that seems like the natural step for those goons They try and get drunk on a Zoom call and
Yeah.
play Jackbox or some shit. Well, the Boys Night characters should just play Jackbox. That just seems like totally in their realm. Just
That
because
would
they
be
all have the
great.
same dumb sense of humor.
Yeah.
Right on out, dribbles on out. Just look.
This is from the time travel episode where I
Oh, man.
drilled through my finger before.
Yeah, 30 minutes before we went live.
Right on out, dribbles on out. Just looks just like drool, but it's not drool. It's water. Weird.
Okay. Well, thanks.
I guess
thanks for
we're
listening.
yeah, sure.
Just
Cool.
don't.
We're ready. We're ready.
All
Anyway.
right, just give us a countdown, I guess.
On the count of 3, I'm gonna go up, not down. 1.
The green
2,
screen looks so
3.
good.
Yeah.
To the point where this was like a shocking revelation.
The intro to that
And
clip
then
reminds
time
me
TSA.
of like reminds
Right
me
on
of
out, dribbles on out. Just look.
the comedy Bang Bang TV show. Whenever the guests they would come back in from a commercial break, and then Scott Ackerman would
Yeah.
say something completely ridiculous. It's like, and I never saw
Yeah,
my mom
fake
again after that.
conversation.
And then just like goes in.
Yeah,
like,
just like
whatever
you
he
put
said
down the
before-
pizza.
Right
You
on
put
out.
down the pizza right now.
Yeah, it's just like
Right on
Yeah,
out, dribbles
just
on
fake
out. Just looks just like
conversations.
drool, but it's not drool. It's water. Weird.
Okay.
like what?
I guess we're yeah, sure.
Just don't.
We're ready.
Like anyway,
Let's do the thing we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I do love that format so much. Even though it is written, like maybe I just would you care if I ever wrote a script adapted from the Art days where it's
No, please
Radical
do.
and Russell trying to put on a TV show in their basement and like the weird people that come on.
Yeah.
And the show is about them trying to put on a show.
it's yeah.
Maybe someday. That's funny.
I'd love to do that. I'd love to revisit that format.
Me too.
It's just
Yeah, it's a lot. I was gonna say I'm fond of and thankful that we, even though the show wasn't destined to be that, you and I and Jake and so many people wrote like 25 episodes worth of scripted nonsense that we semi-improvised live, you know? Like, that's such a funny thing that, like, we set out to create, like, something of it, and we really did. And I'm so proud of those episodes still, even though they are kind of primitive in their own way.
yeah.
I look back fondly on those days.
I look back and I'm kind of baffled at the amount of like effort and creativity that went into them and how they like coalesce, because they are
Yeah.
really good. Not to toot our own horn,
Pre-taped
but there's
sketches,
some-
musical segments,
Let's
like
watch-
timed bits with visual effects.
Yeah, speaking of time bits with visual effects,
Yes, this one.
let's see the poem. This is like so many different collaborations coming into one, but basically how this
Yeah.
episode is set up for everyone is that we brought on 2 artists to talk about nature. One is a animal handler, and you find out almost immediately that the lion he brought to the show escaped from its cage or thing, and then the other person is Perry Thrust.
Yep.
Yeah, and
He became an eco-terrorist.
He's an eco-terrorist, which is just something that we can't fully get into. But like the lion escapes and starts sneaking around, and at the end, it speaks, and I guess that's all you need. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see if I can find this.
God, the show is so visually dark also at the time.
Yeah, I love the lighting, how it was like, because it could be so
Yeah.
dynamic before with like just the hanging lights.
Yeah.
And one unmissable event. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few brief seconds, I will patch you into the live stream. And I will show you. Oh my god. Wait,
What's going on?
I can't not
Whoa.
move. I'm nervous. He's seeing me. He's seeing me.
Harry, stop! Harry, just stay still.
Don't make a lot of noises. Harry. Okay. Don't make a lot of noises.
Okay, but I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm absolutely petrified.
Just talk in a low voice.
Hello, lion.
Hello, lion.
No, they hate low voices. Don't.
Oh my.
Give me.
You gotta be loud as possible.
What?
I'm gonna show you right now
I don't think
how you
that's true.
claim dominion over nature's greatest beast. It's with one of these. No.
Oh, come on.
Bad.
That's not cool.
Hey, be careful with those. Those are expensive LASIK glasses. These don't come cheap. Well, hey, look at me. I have dominion over you. Oh my God, those eyes, green like Nana's spinach artichoke dip. Gnocchi? My boy! No! Gnocchi! What happened? It's you, my boy! I recognize you anyway! Don't hurt your old dad! Gnocchi, please! You were supposed to have been eaten by those lions! You were assumed dead by lion doctors! I just went with it because, grief is boring. What?
Grief is boring?
Oh,
You say grief is boring?
Yeah, I think so.
I am not an animal.
Thanks for hanging out.
You're a man.
What
You're
the
a
fuck?
grown man. My boy's a man.
What's going on?
Holy shit.
Father, don't you see? The lions. They didn't eat my boy. They raised him as their very own. You're as big and strong and scary as I ever could have imagined you'd be.
That's a guy?
I'm no Gnocchi. I reject that name.
No.
You said it yourself, Pop. When the lions took me in, they made me who I am. And so that is what I'll be called. Chow. Lion Chow.
What?
That's my name! It's a lion thing! Get off!
Lion
You.
Joe.
Art. Cruelty! One and the same?
What is he doing?
I don't know. Ew.
Let me read you some inspirational words.
Is that his tail?
Maybe. I guess it's in the eye of the beholder.
Whoa. What's happening?
Bites?
What the When did we get that installed?
When I begin down the trail, I start to lose track of my feet. I am walking. Am I walking there? Walking me.
Hey, welcome Raiders. You're just in time for this beautiful moment. Let me back it up.
Dynamic. In our, was that 10th episode?
Yes. Yes, this was the 10th
And Jake is
episode of
here?
Everything Now show. Jake is here?
What the fuck? Hi, Jake. Oh, he's probably with two puppets.
Welcome Raiders. We're watching a great monologue that was delivered on our show. I think the poem was written by Cole.
Yes, I believe so.
All right, well we'll
Who always came through. What's happening? To do so much work for the show. What the when did we get that installed?
When I begin down the trail, I start to lose track of my feet. I am walking. Am I walking the earth? Or is the earth walking me? As I tiptoe across the pebbles that constitute this ground, messages seem to well up from the earth. Like a bit of Beverly Hillbilly luck, there is something which makes me commune. Up from the earth's most minor chasm, like a goblin starving for light, rises the idea. An almighty force, like a photon in nature. Perceived as light but measured as particle. I don't know if my observation changes it, it might just be that it is. I am talking to you about art in case you are unaware. Knock, knock, who's there? Art! Open up. Pay attention, gaze deep into these hazelnut beauties I call mine own eyes. Or green as they are now, Dad! This poem was written prior to nature being bastardized.
What's going on?
I'm still very new to this. I'm sure it'll be a bump. That's okay. No, that's, yeah.
We'll get your link later.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. We did that shit, man. Clap indeed. Thank you, motion design. And thank you,
the
Sun
fan
Bro.
really made it with the hair blowing in the fan and everything.
That fan gave us that. It gave us Helvetica. It's the ultimate indie filmmaker special effect. Just blow a fan in someone's face for wind.
Yeah, I really wish we could do more of the spotlight triggered stuff. Basically, we had all of our lights hooked up to an app on our phones, so that's how I could like turn off the light and then trigger a
Right.
spotlight on Jake. But yeah, the limitations of green screen, but also the endless possibilities of green screen.
Exactly. What a
did you use the
roadblock
sound
will do to
alerts?
your creativity.
Oh.
Someone did. Curly Whirly Girly.
I'm sorry.
It came up on my vMix, funny enough.
Oh, that might be why it's
in
still
one of the previews.
activated.
Yeah. Well, it's 0 bits, but it's crowd cheers, so.
Sorry.
Good shit. Cheering in your heart, thank you.
Cheer.
I might have to duck soon, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's about it for me too. But this has been great.
I agree.
And
I
we
love
have
this
some-
show. I love that we can do this for the show. Thanks for hosting it.
The show is great. Thanks for coming on. The show would be nowhere without you.
Yeah, of course.
And
that's very nice.
it's
I feel like I'm sometimes the show's biggest fan, even though I am so nervous to be on it always.
It's good. I feel the same. Just like what's gonna happen this week?
I know, yeah, but I upload every VOD to YouTube, and after it's up, I just look at our fucking catalog. I'm just like, this is chaos. 2.5 years of nonsense. It's so cool.
Curly Whirly
and
Girly.
hey,
We're
Curly
happy.
Whirly Girly.
We're happy you found
It
us
means a
too.
lot to us. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you all for being so loyal and kind and excited about trying to create stuff with us.
Yeah. You guys really are, as cheesy as it is, you guys are what makes up the entirety of the show.
You are the show.
We would have stopped doing this show. We would have not kept doing
we
it
did
if
not,
we didn't have people that watched and the people that really like got something out of it. So it's like,
yeah. If
it
Aiden, What a Disaster, Wicked Lazy, and everyone else was not showing up consistently, we probably would have just like, well, let's go back to making short films or maybe start a band or some shit.
yeah, this is the only reason we've been doing it for 2.5 years, and crazy that it has gone on for this long. But thank you guys for being here and supporting us and figuring
See you
out with us
tomorrow.
too. Yeah, see you tomorrow for the main show. We got some great items to go through with the rest of the cast about the things we talked about. We're going to talk about Dr. Teacher. We're going to try to bring him back for you guys. We love him. He'll find a place again. We're going to do sub goals. We're going to talk about doing commercials for people that subscribe. At least for the main show. If you subscribe to other
Yeah.
things, that might be a different story. But for the main show, yeah. And then maybe like a monthly sub thing.
Absolutely.
We're going to start reruns, which are going to be more like curated reruns, like if we played that whole nature episode, but then it was like me and the Chatteraki in the chat that just like hung out and chatted with everyone as the episode we were watching was going on. Which we're thinking about doing Thursday or Friday.
Thursdays or Fridays.
Thursdays or Fridays, like around the middle of the
Around,
day
like-
too.
Yeah.
So for you East Coast folks that don't get to watch the show a lot, hopefully this will help too. Of just like it's not like a new show, but it is something that, you know, one of the cast members will hopefully be watching along with the chat, and then you'll get like commentary on it. And it'd be cool looking back at things that like you may have not seen or didn't know we did. And then we're gonna talk about doing bios for the profile. And then
Editing
anything
streams
else
where we make highlight reels.
editing streams, that'd be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. And look at the notes I wrote. But yeah, pretty much it. I'll be asking for your PNGs in the Discord. And tell Alex he's handsome. Well, we'll have to do that next time.
We ran out of time for that.
I know, it's a shame, but you know, we gotta call it sometime. Who the F are you gonna raid, dude? Or are you gonna do a DJ set or plank and talk to
I'm gonna
Mark
do
Cuban
a
again?
5-hour DJ set now.
Cool, sick.
No, but I will. I mean, it seems like the way that I'm doing the sets now, where I just delete them as soon as they end, seems like it's not
Exclusives.
harming anything. Because they don't get
I think so.
immediately muted. I think they like it like takes.
Someone has to like find it and report it, right? Or something. Or not
No, I
even
think it's
that,
like an algorithm that finds it, but I think there's like a buffer time or
Yeah.
something. But yeah,
Weird.
But I might do more of those. Who knows? But yeah, let's see who we're gonna.
There's a plethora of content out there right now. One of my favorite streams, Grub Truckers, is
what's Grub
currently working. They're a food truck. They're a food truck in, I believe, Idaho or Iowa, I forget. But they're pretty much a college campus food truck.
Whoa.
And it's just 4 cameras set up, and you like kind of get to know the employees and also see them interact with people who are buying food outside. It's cute. It's like a workplace show, but in the form of a Twitch stream.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah, there you go.
We are beginning the raid. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Good night, K-Weeb. And what a day. What a nice day it was.
What a weird fucking day it was.
What a nice day, huh? What could tomorrow possibly hold?
What?
Thank you, Wicked Lazy.
Whose dead dad is gonna come back as a hologram tomorrow?
Only time will tell.
Jesus Christ! Only time
Bye,
will tell.
Aiden.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks, friends.
Wicked
Love you
Lazy.
all. Bye, Aiden. Super Pete's oh, he's already gone, but I might be playing his favorite video game. We'll see.
Hell yeah.
Also, Aiden, I want to finish Undertale. I'll make that happen sometime soon. We'll do it.
All right, y'all.
Bye,
Say
friends.
hi to the truckers. See ya tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Boop.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Chumps.
F
Absolute rubes.
Chomp chomp. Oh, I didn't actually raid. Just kidding.
Hey, they called us out. That's good.
They called us out.
You fuckers.
Way to go.
Thanks for